Many people don't know that a lot of trends and movements come from counterculture. Fashion, music, politics have all been influenced by counterculture in some way. In this video, I'm going to mainly be talking about the influence counterculture has had on fashion and music. Counterculture has always had an impact on fashion and still does. Pretty much all major fashion trends have taken inspiration from a counterculture in some way. Take the 80s for example. Much of the 80s aesthetic was defined by the New Wave fashion. New Wave was heavily inspired by the post-punk and gothic movements of the late 70s and early 80s, thanks to many of the bands of the scene breaking through to the mainstream. Bands such as Blondie and The Cure were all over MTV and on the front covers of both fashion and music magazines. This inspired many companies to put out designs that resembled their style to meet the public demand. This also happened in the 1970s with the natural look. We all know that hippies had their own style during the 1960s. The hippie style heavily inspired the fashion trends of the next decade. The 1970s was dominated by the natural look, which was nearly a direct carbon copy of the hippie fashion. This is still happening today, but it's just harder to notice mainly because fashion trends don't last near as long or have as wide an appeal since the market has become much more diverse. But we've all seen the latest fashion trend that has spread across the internet. E-fashion is the look that many people attribute to the e-boys and e-girls online. You can't go anywhere in the internet without seeing people who have this aesthetic. This look actually resembles Indian Midwestern's emo's fashion almost to the T. This goes further. Some of the biggest brands in shoes right now are Converse and Vans, which were staples in punk and skater culture during the 1990s, but it now seems nearly every other person has a pair of them, whether they're in the scene or not. And the list of examples goes on and on. Along with fashion, music is constantly being influenced by counterculture. Pop music is often considered the base music genre among contemporary music, mainly because of its simple and melody-driven song structure. This means it mixes easily with other genres, which means that pop music as a whole is really susceptible to being influenced by these other genres. Think of some of the biggest music trends throughout the years. House music, that was just pop mixed with EDM, so this became this. Pop punk is just punk plus pop, meaning this led to this. Even heavy metal mixed with pop. Heavy metal turned from this to this. If you look at the trends, you can see how music has felt the influence of many different counterculture genres throughout the years. I can keep providing examples of the influences, but the examples I provided already do more than illustrate the fact that mainstream culture is constantly being influenced by counterculture. Thank you.